What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. First, apologies from the top. I set up yesterday to try to go live. I was trying to go live, but I decided to do a test run to see that the technology was operating properly, and it was not. I had all sorts of lag with the sound. The sound was several seconds behind me, as was the video. A total nightmare. Couldn't put you through that. So I don't know what or when I should say. I did try to order a camera from Amazon, and that went horribly off the rails. It was days of it not showing up, and me calling and threatening people, and being given false promises. Uh, Finally, it never showed up. So finally, I started asking for a refund. Then that took weeks, or at least, I think it was like a week and a half or something like that when it was all said and done. I think it was really more than that, because first they told me, 5 to 7 business days. Then I waited, and then I called, and turns out that they hadn't even processed that the person I had spoken to before hadn't even put it in, and it's just all run around, man. So I'm just sick and tired of it. Um, anyway, and I really wanted to do this particular video live. I always tell you that for me, communication is everything, and so how I communicate is important as well. Some things it's more effective to be on camera, and some things it's you don't need to be on camera for. And this was just one of those productions where I felt like it would have more of an impact if I was on camera. But alas, I can't be, and so we're stuck with this. But I really have been wanting, I didn't want this to get too far down the road before I had a chance to address it, because there's many other things that I want to do pieces on. And so anyway, this really got under my skin because it is the epitome of everything that I've ever railed against as it relates to Christianity. It is the stain upon our people. It is why we don't seek revenge. It is why we forgive. It is why we don't stand up. It's why we're so weak. It's why our family units are in decline. It's why our women are speaking and acting the way that they do, as well as our men and our kids. On and on I can go. And it ties back to Christianity. I've always told you, and I did full pieces, full lectures on my original channel, my 23,000 subscriber channel, that the demons shut down in 2016. But I did full lectures about just the character of black people and how it is affected by Christianity. Because I understand very clearly that if my people can understand the connection, the direct causation between Christianity and the mass character of our people in this nation, that will be the key to unlocking the door. It's why we don't have unity, why we don't support each other, why when we see each other we don't feel an immediate kindred connection with one another, a sense of support, love, and unity with one another. It goes all back to this vomit I call this Christianity thing that I call vomit. I want to deal now with this sloth that's on your screen, this sapsucker, and by the way, gluttony is one of the 7 deadly sins in this thing called the Bible. So I'm not understanding why I'm seeing so many gluttonous ass Christian pastors with no neck. That alone is very telling. But I want to deal with what went on with him trying to get this $40,000 from the congregants. And then he also was on the Ricky Smiley radio show. And I want to pick that apart as well. We want to go through this forensically as only the Jedi can. It's one of my gifts, one of my talents. So let us begin. And also a big shout out to all of the new subscribers on Jedi Africa, my other channel, as well as this channel, the Jedi. And a shout out to all of my constant gardeners. Many of you that have been with me for many years. I appreciate, love, and miss every single one of you. I need you to know that. And I don't know why I suddenly get hoarse when I get on. Where's my damn punch? I need more punch. Anyways, so let us begin now. Let us see what the crime of it all was, where it all began.
Close the doors for me for a quick moment. I want everybody to remain standing quickly. How many of y'all really received something from the word of the Lord tonight?
From the word of the Lord tonight. Listen to the speech cadence, everybody. This is part of the hypnosis that these sorcerers put dumbass black people under. And as I always maintain, you have to be weak-minded to be a Christian. You have to be. You have to be weak-minded, and you're definitely not a critical thinker or someone who questions. That's just a fact. That's a fact. As I always say to many Christians when I speak to them in person and have discussion and debate, I always say, if you can still be a Christian. This is not about you not being a Christian, but just acknowledge it's some bullshit and that you're an idiot. That's fine. But don't act like it's not a problem. You want to be able to be comfortable in that. And I won't allow it. You understand? Like, just admit it's some bullshit. Because like I say, you have to be weak-minded to be a Christian. It's one of the requisites. You have to be weak-minded, and you're definitely not a critical thinker and someone who questions. And for the most part, you definitely don't read. Like, that's out. And you're not someone who's able to hold 2 points of view in the same vessel and not realize that of those 2 points of view, you can select whichever one you want. But do you have the intellectual gravitas to be able to just hold 2 points of view? You're also an either or type person if you're a Christian. You don't understand the concept of both and. It's either or. That's it. That's it. So anyway, I'll make my indictments as we go. Let's start it over here now.
Close the doors for me for a quick moment. I want everybody to remain standing quickly. How many of y'all really received something from the word of the Lord tonight?
And why are you, all this is just sweat and funk. What, you weren't dancing, you weren't doing, I don't understand, whatever.
Listen, when you study scripture, you would notice that whenever God, you see how they speak, they make me sick, dude. This dude, and it's always some fucked up hairline too on these black Christian pastors. His hairline, look at the hairline, dude. He looks like I can't. It's just. How many of you received something from the word of the Lord tonight? That's always that I know something you don't know. I'm such a scholar and a theologian, and I know it all. And just the word of the Lord, and I'm a prophet, and the Spirit speaks through me. Because everything with Christianity is sorcery and magic and shit.
No faith involved anywhere. It's all sorcery, faith, sorcery, and magic.
Lord, tonight. Listen, when you study scripture, you will notice that whenever God did something in the lives of the patriarchs of old, the patriarchs would pause, they would set up an altar, and they would offer up sacrifice.
Wait, now, we have to hear the language, everybody. We have to hear the language. I always tell you, language, language, language. Hear this claim now.
For God did something in the lives of the patriarchs of old.
Whenever God did something in the lives of the patriarchs of old, this would be the men. Because men are patriarchs, women are matriarchs. So, should we clear the room of the women? Is he only speaking to the men? We don't understand. All right, well, the
patriarchs of old.
The patriarchs of old.
The patriarchs would pause. They would set up an altar. They would offer up sacrifice.
Now, no historical background, no theological citing to back up his claim. This is one of the other issues I have with Christianity, is they pull everything out of their ass. Everything out of their ass. They're not interested in the Bible, because even though it's vomit, if they just went by the Bible, none of them would be Christian. None of them. All of Christianity is built on some shit that has nothing to do with the book or anything that's in it. So, they wouldn't set up an altar because you're not supposed to have any false gods or have any false idols. So God does something for the patriarchs, according to the fat ass, and then they pause a moment. He's trying to make it romantic. They pause and they set up an altar. And do a sacrifice. Why would you do a sacrifice if God has already given you something? You don't need to sacrifice anything. The language, everybody, and they fall for this shit, hook, line, and sinker. I'm over it. We got a lot to get through. Let me just keep my comments as minimum as I can.
Patriarchs would pause.
They would pause. We don't know why. They would pause. That's part of the Christian hypnosis. They would pause.
They would set up an altar.
They would set up an altar.
They would offer up sacrifice.
And they would offer a sacrifice. Of what?
I asked each and every one of you, how many of y'all received something from the word of the Lord? Everyone in this place said these words, I did.
Because of course they're going to say that. Because Christians are always imagining something happen. Some imagined holy feeling. Some imagined miracle act that happened. It's so, I cannot with this. And I want to be very clear too. I don't give a fuck about Christianity. I only care about it because of what it has done and is continuing to do to our people. I don't give a damn about nobody else on the planet. I'm only concerned about African people. And this shit is a virus upon us. A virus.
Sacrifice. I asked each and every one of you, how many of y'all received something from the word of the Lord?
From the word of the Lord.
Everyone in this place said these words, I did.
Because apparently you cannot get anything from the Lord unless you go to one of these houses of death and have some sloth like this teaching it to you. No way you could get the word of the Lord on your own. There's no way. Apparently it doesn't work that way.
From the word of the Lord. Everyone in this place said these words, I did. Because of your acknowledgement of what God did.
Because of your acknowledgement of what God did. I think they before they even preach, before they become a preacher, they practice how to say that. Because nobody says it like them. God, and God, God, their little ways. I'll be pointing it out as we go along the way, dude. I mean, it's all sickening to me. I have a vomit bag next to me while I'm doing this video, just so you know, because I can't get through this without puking.
Said these words, I did.
As he's wearing a Rolex.
Because of your acknowledgement of what God did in word, there is an obligation that is attached.
There's an obligation that is attached. And look at the body language, how he's pointing. Because of your acknowledgement of what God did, there's an obligation. You see, not that you need to live a righteous life and submit to God and his commandments above all. That is the price you're supposed to pay so that you can earn paradise after this life. According to him, you get the gift first and then you're supposed to do so. You see what I'm saying? Oh my God, I can't with these people.
Because of your acknowledgement of what God did in word, there is an obligation that is attached to that acknowledgement.
Look, this dude, I can't. I mean, it just, is he wearing a yarmulke or is that really his hair? I don't know what's happening.
In biblical days.
And why are you got back sweat and everything? From doing what? Lying? That's all. In biblical days, because apparently there are no more biblical days, even though the Bible still exists. So in biblical days,
there is an obligation that is attached to that acknowledgement. In biblical days, they offered livestock.
In biblical days, they offered livestock. What was the biblical day, everybody? Because I hear this from Christians. That was in biblical times. What does that mean? You've never ever even stopped to think about that. What does that mean in biblical days? What does that mean to you? But he's saying they offered livestock. Apparently there's no more livestock available today. So I don't know how we're getting steaks and hamburgers and sausages. I mean, there's no more livestock, everybody. So there's no way you could offer livestock today, not understanding why.
Acknowledgement. In biblical days, they offered livestock, grain. That was a type of currency. Note, if you will, I did not say money.
This is just all now vomit. All of it is anyway. But this is now, pastors have because they know you're dumb anyway. Because like I say, you're weak-minded if you're a Christian. They know that. So he's going to use a bunch of words here to make it seem like he's brilliant and knows something you don't know. When if you really break it down, he hasn't said a damn thing at all. So here he's trying to make it seem like he's using some other concept other than money. Notice I said currency.
Note, if you will, I did not say money.
I did not say money, but it's obviously implied.
I said currency. And this is what God is saying for at least 1,000 of you.
This is what God is saying. Like they just have some direct line and God speaks directly when they say it. That's the other problem, the issue I have. You know, I've shared with you guys over the years that my friend, well, you know her as Vanity, but my friend Denise, who I had the privilege and honor to know for years, and we lived together for just over a year. And in that time, well, even before I moved in with her, but certainly it began to get more intense after I moved in with her. She was on this journey of spirituality. She was becoming more and more Christianified, blah, blah, blah. But one of the things she used to always do that got on my last nerve was she could be speaking to you or anyone. We'd be anywhere. and she already has something she wants to say, or a judgment or something. She's like, Lord, can I say this? The Lord is telling me I can say this. And then she'll start. I never heard her say, Lord, can I say this? The Lord is telling me I can't say this. It's never that. Lord, can I say this? The Lord is telling me I can say this. And then I'd be like, why? It got on my nerves. This is that. So, the Lord is saying,
did not say money. I said currency. And this is what God is saying.
This is what God is saying.
For at least 1,000 of you.
For at least.
In the building. And this is simple. I'm not going to challenge you the way Bishop did. But I know that there's 1,000 individuals under the sound of my voice that can do what I'm about to challenge you all to do.
Challenge you all to do. Look at the body language. That I'm so holy.
This is simple. 1,000 people giving what I'm about to challenge will be $20,000. 1,000 people giving what I'm about to challenge you all to do will be $20,000. Now, for those of us who are on the dais.
On the dais, which it's dais, but whatever.
I'm taking you higher, so put it back. I'm a strong believer that leaders lead not only in time, not only in talent, but also in treasure. Leaders lead in time, talent, and treasure.
That's just from him. That has nothing to do with the Bible. It's not in any commandment. It's nowhere. This is just him pulling it out of his fat ass. That's it.
I was taught a long time ago that it costs to sit up here. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors.
That's one. He said it at the beginning of the video. Now this is the second time he's more insistent about it.
Ushers, close the doors.
That's 3.
Close the doors.
That's 4.
Close the doors.
That's 5. Just so we are all reminded, here's what he said at the beginning of the video.
Close the doors for me for a quick moment. I want everybody to remain standing quickly.
That's what he said.
Ushers, close the doors. Close the doors.
3.
Close the doors. 4. We all gonna leave together?
Or I'm sorry, it was
y'all
5
ain't going
though.
no place but to the restaurant.
Now, we are gonna leave together. So that was already like close the doors because you're not leaving. Just to be clear, because of something he tried to say when he was on Ricky Smiley. So we want to get the record clear about what happened. That's why we're going through this so forensically now.
Time ago.
We don't want to know what he said, what did he do, what was the context.
It costs to sit up here. There's 1,000 of you. I said close them doors.
That's 2.
Ushers, close the doors.
That's 3.
Close the doors.
4.
Close the doors.
5.
We all gonna leave together?
We all gonna leave together. So that's clear to any human being listening to it. Close the doors meant nobody's going anywhere. We're all gonna leave together. That's what he just said.
Y'all ain't going no place but to the restaurant.
Not that you've got a babysitter and you have lives and you have shit you got to do. Y'all ain't going nowhere but to the restaurant. So he can treat you like crap and you'll take it because what? He's anointed.
There's 1,000 of you tonight, and those that are watching, it's 1,000 that's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get
a seed, that fucking kills me, dude. They've got all these black Christianity just sends me to chop my own head off. I cannot.
That's watching online. This is a small seed. If I get 1,000 online to give this, If I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight.
And look at everybody that's behind him. Old ass, weak ass men. That's why we don't have any warriors amongst us. I told you after the 9 people were killed in South Carolina in the church by Dylan Roof's bitch ass, the very first images that I saw was big, strong black men in a fucking prayer circle. Not, let's go get our ammo, let's get the truck, let's go ride on whoever did this shit. No, no. A prayer circle, bitch. A prayer circle. When we see the protests for yet another slaughter of our people in the streets by these white devils in Halloween costumes, you got the whole family out there in your Sunday best and shit. Not, let's put on some paramilitary shit with just the men and let's go out and show motherfuckers that we're not going to stand for this shit. You're happy to march because it doesn't require any sacrifice of you. There's no danger there. This is also one of the many reasons why black people are Christian, because Christianity doesn't require a fucking thing from you at all. Nothing. You don't have to change anything about your character or your way of life or your actions or anything, and everything is acceptable. Everything. There are no hard lines in the sand in Christianity at all. Anything goes. Anything.
In the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. Now, everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone.
We all sold and seeded. I can't. First, let me be clear, everybody. God doesn't need your money at all. God doesn't need a damn thing from you. At all. So put down this little equality game that Christians play with God. God doesn't need a damn thing from your pathetic, dusty ass. You need him for your very next heartbeat and your very next breath. He does not need a damn from you. At all. But you need him. But God expects something of you. And what he expects from his creatures is submission and obedience. That's what he expects from you, but doesn't need it at all. At all. And God doesn't love everybody. That's why he set up a chateau called hell. Going on.
1,000 online to give this. If I get 1,000 in the sanctuary to give this, that's $40,000 tonight. Now, everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100. Because again, it costs to sit up here.
A seed of $100. It costs to sit up here. Why? Again, these are all shit you wouldn't. We don't have this anywhere in the Islamic world at fucking all. Nowhere in the Islamic world. I speak for all 2 billion of us. This is nowhere in the Islamic world at all. This might as well be some blockbuster Hollywood movie. A fantasy. You never find any of this in the Islamic world. We don't have this. You never have any imam standing up in the mosque saying any of this shit at all. Ever. Anywhere on this planet.
That's $40,000 tonight. Now, everyone up here, we've all sold and seeded, but I need everyone standing up here with us, with me, to plant a seed of $100.
Look, notice everybody's behind them. Old and fucked up.
Because again, it costs to sit up here. Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come, 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 come.
And he's snapping fingers there now. Y'all start moving.
Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come, come.
And context, this was apparently done last year, even though the video is now causing such a firestorm for him. It was sometime last year. It was at some convention. It wasn't at his church. So just that context for you. But you heard him snap his finger there.
Y'all start moving. Y'all can bring it right now. Come, 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 come. Even if you're giving tangibly, just put your hand on the, take your phone and stick it on the bucket.
So they have that technology. What, you know, you have the tap to pay at a lot of businesses. Are they doing that shit in the Christian church now too? I'm not really surprised, because I do know that years ago we learned they had ATMs in the fucking church. It's a shame, dude. Oh my God, I can't. And they've never built anything. It's never like, ooh, you know, I mean, they don't build no schools. They don't do like affordable housing. There's nothing that they give to the black community at all for all this sowing and seeding and shit. It's disgusting, man. It's disgusting. But you know what? The hour of reckoning is at hand, everybody, because the prophecy is coming true. Christianity is going into the toilet where it belongs. More mosques are being built than churches. And many churches are being taken over because they've gone out of business. The mosque that I attend right now is a church, used to be a church. And this is going on all across the earth. Where we don't build them, we buy up your churches and turn it into a mosque. Because your people are fleeing from you, because people are just sick and tired of the hypnosis. And they know it's some bullshit. They know it. They know it. They know it.
Tangibly, just put your hand
on. So now
you
can just tap the bucket they pass every 5 minutes, I guess now, and that's tap to pay.
Take your phone and stick it on the bucket.
Look, he got to have a money clip. You feel what I'm saying? Look. So he got his 100 out, and then he still got money to put the clip back on. You see what I'm saying? Right in their face. Look at that.
Shh. Giving is worship.
Giving is worship. Giving is worship. Giving is not worship, everybody. It's not. It's not.
Shh. Giving is worship. Giving is worship.
He should just say anything. You can even read it on his face. He just pulled that out of his ass.
Shh. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. 1,000 people online need to give $20. This is easy, saints.
Saints. Now you're a saint. He was just clicking his fingers at you a second ago. But now you're a saint.
This is easy, saints. This is an easy miracle. We should be
an easy miracle. Miracles materialize out of nowhere and unexpectedly, everybody. That's one of the criterion that makes it a miracle. So according to Fat Ass, you pay money and poof, you can make a miracle happen. Look, it's a miracle. That's exactly not a miracle. That's exactly not a miracle.
This is an easy miracle. We should be able to raise $40,000 tonight just from y'all giving. I'm about to go get
just from y'all giving.
Get in my truck. I'm going to my hotel. I got me some fruit. I'm doing fruit now. Fruit.
Now he's doing fruit because he's such a fucking fat lard ass. And he's going to, by the way, he never gives a reason of why they're giving. And look, they got everything up there. They got the PayPal, the give some app I don't heard of. They got the Cash App. I mean, they have it all. I mean, it's just Wow, dude. He never says why they're raising $40,000. That's very glaring, I want you to notice.
This is an easy miracle.
An easy miracle for who? For what? Why are you asking for $40,000?
Should be able to raise $40,000 tonight just from y'all giving. I'm about to go get in my truck. I'm going to my hotel. I got me some fruit. I'm doing fruit now. Fruit and water. I'm trying to.
Who thinks he's doing fruit and water? Who thinks that? Type if you think he's actually doing fruit and water. Or is he doing fucking ham hocks and hog maws?
Look at us. Yeah. Now after you come up here, you can open the doors. Y'all can walk out the door after you come up here.
You can walk out the door after you come up here. You can walk out the doors after you come up here. We're going to get it now. We're laying foundation.
Look at us.
Look at us. So that suggests that they've either raised the money or damn near raised it all. Look at us. I'll just let you hear it again. I want everybody to be clear now.
I'm trying to. Look at us. Yeah. Now after you come up here, you can open the doors. Y'all can walk out the.
After you come up here, you can open the doors. Y'all can walk out the doors. After you come up here, we're very clear about it.
Yeah. Now after you come up here, you can open the doors. Y'all can walk out the door after you come up here. But make sure you come this way before you go out the door. That's it. Look at God. Look at what God has done.
Look at God. Look at what God has done. This suggests to me they were successful, that the sheeple fell for this hypnosis and gave their money.
Y'all can walk out the door after you come up here. But make sure you come this way before you go out the door. That's it. Look at God. Look at what God has done. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'm good. I'm out. Peace. Hallelujah.
He literally said,
I'm out.
I'm out. Peace. All right. So we have the parameters now. Now, let's go to what the fat ass had to say, because after the video caused a firestorm, suddenly his whole thing changed.
Rick Smiley Morning Show, 25 minutes after the hour, y'all. Our next guest has been all over the internet lately, and he's here with us today to set the record straight. He's an award-winning singer, bishop, and pastor of the Chosen Vessel Church in Fort Worth, Texas.
Chosen Vessel Church. Wow. Also, a little digging revealed to us, everybody, that they are part of them Greek fraternity people. I told you, them black people, we got to be over their black ass. Because they have a network of evil that don't include the rest of us. You understand? They live in neighborhoods we don't know about. They have incomes we never see and shit like that. And they have a network. So let's be very careful. Be very careful, these people who have pledged these damn fraternities. It's a problem. Don't ask me which ones they are, but I learned that they pledged fraternities. So they're you're part of that bullshit. And look at fat ass.
Joining us this morning is a friend of the show, Marvin Sapp. And good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
And listen, let me say this. I'm not here to exploit this situation. You are my friend.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm a real friend. I'm a loyal friend.
No, he's not. We've learned things about Ricky Smiley that let us know he's a piece of shit.
You understand? And I haven't even talked to you this week.
No,
I know your phone was blowing up, but I had sense enough that everything that you sat here and said during the commercial break, I already knew. You don't have to explain that to me. I grew up in the church. And in your own way, let's start with the attacks that are on you and the death threats on you and your family.
Know this, there's no death threats, everybody. That's one of the reasons why I knew I had to do a piece on this. That was like the step too far. There is no death threat. Because, first of all, black folks, we don't do that. That's white people that do death threats and shit. That's their white ass. So, no white people would be interested in this. So there were no death threats. I could promise you there were no death threats to his fat ass. This is just now because he wants to up his ire. He also wants to up his profile. And a lot of them get this sort of king complex where they want to be with a lot of security and shit. And this just gives him an excuse to have that. Because if he suddenly shows up with all the security, everybody's like, how come he got all the security? So this is also milking the situation, making it seem like he's in such terror and all this. None of it is the truth. There are no death threats. I can promise you that. I could promise you that.
But I had sense enough that everything that you sat here and said during the commercial break, I already knew. You don't have to explain that to me. I grew up in the church. And in your own way, let's start with the attacks that are on you in the.
Look at this fat ass. No neck, everybody. Just a lard ass sloth.
In the death threats on you and your family.
Well, let me
just whatever way you want to start.
Let me just start by saying first, Ricky, I thank you for this opportunity.
Yes, sir.
I thank you for the opportunity to be able to come on your show and for you to use your platform to give me a chance to just, add some context.
Yeah.
Some context and clarity to, a clip that, a whole lot of people have seen. Sadly, one of the things that has happened is, people have created a narrative that is absolutely not true. Number one, the narrative was created, excuse me.
He's got on Jordans. I don't wear Jordans. I know they're expensive, but I need to point out he's wearing Jordans.
That I raised money at my church, that I kept the people at my church hostage.
Listen, this is where he throws out a bunch of, this is also one of the modus operandi of people that are liars and deceivers and are guilty. They throw shit out in the argument that nobody's claiming. No one has claimed that he was raising this money at his church. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Everybody knew it was a church environment. As I told you, I learned it was at a convention. But nobody said that. He's trying to make that. In other words, they reshape the claim so they can answer the charges. Because if they just answer just the straight charges, the real ones, they got nothing to stand on. So they add other shit, and that's what he's doing here. They're saying that I raised money at my church so he can have a bunch of shit he can knock down. Nobody said that, but that's why we're going through this forensically.
A clip that, a whole lot of people have seen. Sadly, one of the things that has happened is, people have created a narrative that is absolutely not true. Number one, the narrative was created, excuse me, that I raised money at my church.
No one said that.
That I kept the people at my church hostage.
You did, and I've proven that.
Until I raised $40,000.
Which is exactly what happened. That's why I kept playing that ending part of the clip where he was like, look at God. And I'm going back to my hotel and have fruit and water and all of it. That was someone who had attained success.
For me. That's the narrative that
Wait
has been shared.
Wait.
That I kept the people at my church hostage.
You did.
Until I raised $40,000 for me.
Nobody said you were raising it for you. Nobody said that. Because as I pointed out, he never said why he was raising it. But we know enough about these fake ass houses of death They're just raising the money. You see? So nobody, again, he's trying to set up false straw men that he can knock down easily, that no one made the claim of. But he did hold the people hostage, and I proved that already.
That's the narrative that has been shared, that lock folks up in my church. That
see, now he puts his fingers up so he can knock them all down one by one. That's why he set up the fake thing. Now he can go down the list and discredit each one of them that he produced from out of his ass.
$1,000 for me. That's the narrative that has been shared, that lock folks up in my church, that, I made them give $40,000 and I wouldn't allow them to leave until they gave it to me. And to be honest,
he said, you can leave after you come up here.
With you, that is absolutely false.
And I absolutely just lied through my fish-eyed lens as glasses that make me look even more fucked up than I look naturally.
Yeah. Number one, that offering was taken last year. This was
offering, everybody, not a demand. It was an offering.
It was a service that happened last August. Number two, it didn't happen at my local church. It actually
give a fuck where it happened. You see, that's why he set up these false things so it could seem like he went out this whole list of stuff that wasn't true. We don't give a fuck if it was on the moon, nigga.
Until they gave it to me. And to be honest with you, that is absolutely false. Yeah. Number one.
And by the way, he's sitting up there in a sweatshirt that says Burberry of London, England. You see what I'm saying? So he's a materialistic bitch, like most of them are. Most Christians are materialistic. It's all about money for these black Christians. It's all about money. Every blessing comes in the form of money or something material. It's never just like God just gave you a brilliant inspiration to be a better human being or something like this, or be a better neighbor, or no. It has to come with something material. That's, but he's sitting up here trying to be, he's wearing Jordans and a Burberry of London, England sweatshirt. So he's a label whore. And the shirt probably isn't even from Burberry. But a lot of these brands will just put their name on a t-shirt and you'll pay $100 million for it just because the name is on it. It's still a piece of shit sweatshirt, means nothing. That's a label whore. A label whore on top of everything else that he's done.
That is absolutely false.
Yeah.
Number one, that offering was taken last year.
Doesn't matter.
This was a service that happened last August. Number two, it didn't happen at my local church. It actually happened at a national organization's national apostrophe S, international meeting. Where
a national organization's international meeting. We want to get the parameters clear. Say it again, fat ass.
This was a service that happened last August. Number two, it didn't happen at my local church. It actually happened at a national organization's international meeting where churches from all over the country, all over the world came together for the purpose of celebrating the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
So churches from all over the world came together for the purpose of celebrating the Lord Jesus Christ, which Christ is not your Lord, everybody. Christ is not your Lord. I have a video here on the channel about the Trinity, showing you that the word Trinity doesn't appear in any Bible on this planet known as Earth. Period. And that's the foundational fucking principle of Christianity, and yet it doesn't appear anywhere in the damn book. Because what? They pull everything out of their ass, as I've said to you. Everything is right out of their ass.
National organization's international meeting where churches from all over the country, all over the world came together for the purpose of celebrating the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
Celebrating the Lord Jesus Christ. So if I'm going to celebrate something, that means we have a party. I shouldn't have to pull my wallet out. But celebrating the Lord Jesus Christ. I'm trying not to vomit.
People took issue with me saying, shut the doors. Understand, I never said lock the doors.
Yeah.
That's so fucking bullshit. It doesn't matter if you said bolt the shit, bitch. The fact of the matter is, it was very clear that no one was to leave at all. You held those people hostage by coercion. Period. You held them hostage by coercion. That's what you did.
Yeah. I said shut the doors. Shutting doors mean that people still have the ability to go in and out.
Nah, you said it 5 times, you fat bitch. And not only that, but it was clear. That's why I pained us through the language so much, everybody. That's why I pained us through the damn language, because I knew what his fat ass was going to sit up here and say. And I wanted to be very clear in your mind what his fat ass has said already. This fat bitch.
Christ. People took issue with me saying shut the doors. Understand, I never said lock the doors.
Yeah.
I said shut the doors. Shutting doors mean that people still have the ability to go in and out.
But they weren't going to go anywhere. You knew that, bitch. That's why you said it 5 times.
They've taken issue with my tone. And I can honestly say, looking at the video, maybe I was a little more assertive than I should have been. And I can apologize for that. I can apologize for that. But 3 things I need to make sure that people understood. Number one, the $40,000, if it was $40,000.
If it was $40,000, said the fat ass.
That was raised.
If it was $40,000, like he wouldn't know? He wouldn't know. If it was $40,000 that was raised. Bitch, you was sitting up there with totals. You knew. Don't make me have to go back. I'll go back. I'll do it.
Was never given to me. That money was raised for the purpose of taking care of the budget for their conference.
The budget for their conference that they called, that they have, I guess, every year for all these churches to come together just to celebrate the Lord Jesus Christ. So they can't cover their own damn conference. I mean, what do we understand?
And I can apologize for that. I can apologize for that. But 3 things I need to make sure that people understood. Number one, the $40,000, if it was $40,000, that was
if it was $40,000
raised, was never given to me.
That's so vague and ambiguous, because what does that mean? You know what I mean? It can go into your account electronically that it was never given to you. It's just like fake ass black people that they will totally practically told you they need something, or they need a ride, or they need money, or they need a place to stay, or they need something from you. And then you give that, and it's so obvious that, yeah, this is a gift and or a loan or something I'm doing for you. And the moment shit goes out, I didn't ask you, but I didn't ask you. But you accept it, bitch. I mean, it's just the character, dude. So let's not be so. He doesn't get his fat ass off the hook by saying it never came to me. That's some bullshit. It's a play of words. Semantics.
The $40,000, if it was $40,000 that was raised, was never given to me.
So you held people hostage at a venue. You're the one who brought it up. You were the only fucking person in the room that was speaking about money, and you don't know if $40,000 was raised? Who believes that?
That money was raised for the purpose of taking care of the budget.
Take care of the budget. What budget?
For their conference.
What did that have to do with the people?
Not Marvin Sapp. Number 2, it didn't happen at my church.
You already said that already. And that means nothing. It doesn't matter if it happened on the moon. You were still the only fat bitch up there asking for money.
Happened in Baltimore. Number three, you know, people take issue with me being firm with the ushers.
Well, you were. I said close the doors.
Anybody that goes to church ushers one-on-one, that's the first thing they teach you as being an usher, is that there are 3 times you don't walk. You don't walk.
Now he wants, this means nothing. This is just all now just throwing dust in front of the lens. Hocus pocus, look at the dust while I do something else. You see, that we don't give a fuck. That we don't care about ushering one-on-one. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Anybody that goes to church ushers one-on-one, that's the first thing they teach you as being an usher, is that there are 3 times you don't walk. You don't walk during the altar call. You don't walk during prayer. You don't walk during the offering.
Hear that now. You don't walk during the offering. This was not an offering. This was you holding people fucking hostage and telling them they need to give. That's exactly not an offering. An offering is I get an inspiration on my heart and I come up and I do what? I offer something. This is not a fucking offering. The people were being held hostage. I've already proven that part of my claim.
You don't walk during the altar call. You don't walk during prayer. You don't walk during the offering. One of the reasons being is because of the sacredness of the moment. But it's also about security. As a pastor, we understand and we know that churches are being robbed at gunpoint. It's happening.
So why didn't you just say, security, make sure y'all are on the doors? You didn't have to close the doors. And you knew you were going to be, anytime you're in the church, you're going to be, all you do is fucking ask for money. So why don't you just have security just standing around? Again, this is just more lies, everybody. It's more lies. Like closing the doors is going to make us all safe and secure. But he already said, he didn't say lock the doors. That means I could have robbed your fat ass and ran out the door, according to Marvin Sapp's fat ass. You understand?
As a pastor, we understand and we know that churches are being robbed at gunpoint. It's happening all over the country. This is not something I'm making up. This is factual. So if you got 5,000 people in the room, you want the doors closed. You don't want the doors locked. I couldn't get them locked anyway.
No, motherfucker, you just said you had everything up on the screen of how they could give and just tap. And everything, there wasn't really a whole lot of cash that needed to be given. Or what was his word? If you're giving tangibly, you can just tap your phone. If you're giving tangibly, trying to sound more biblical and anointed and shit. If you're giving tangibly, they got every way in the world of how to fucking beg and separate you from your goddamn money. Fuck his fat ass.
For the country. This is not something I'm making up. This is factual. So if you got 5,000 people in the room, you want the doors closed. You don't want the doors locked. I couldn't get them locked anyway. It's a convention center. But the doors needed to be closed, and there was a lot of pandemonium stuff that was going on out there. But I wanted to share that first. But that ain't even the reason why I'm here. Here's the reason why I'm here. The reason why...
That's not why he's here. Okay, fine, badass.
I'm here is because what has happened is people have taken clickbait and made something out of it that it is.
Nah, nigga. People took exactly what you said and did, and now we got shit to say about it. It wasn't clickbait. Clickbait is shit that doesn't deliver on what it advertises when you click on it. This delivered at every checkpoint. Let's be very clear. This was exactly not clickbait.
Taken clickbait and made something out of it that it isn't. And because of that, my church has been getting phone calls. People have called my church and cussed me out. My staff are afraid because I received death threats.
He's lying. He's lying. You would say that first before you even say about the phone calls. That would be last on the list. You never say the most important shit last. That's the most shocking. But the fact that he offers that last is more testimony or more evidence, I suggest, that that's of its being a fucking lie.
Church has been getting phone calls. People have called my church and cussed me out.
Who thinks you could call up and get him directly on the phone? Who thinks that at his church? that you would just call him up and in the middle of all this, that people would put a call through to him so you could cuss him out? Who thinks that would happen? Who thinks that? Who thinks that? But truth doesn't matter to Christians. You understand? Because there's exactly no fear of God in the last day in these people. It's not set up for that. It's whatever they proclaim out of their ass. That's the definition of it. So lying and deception is no problem for them at fucking all.
People have called my church and cussed me out. My staff are afraid because I've received death threats.
Now he says that. It's a lie.
Over $20 and shut the door.
Nah, nigga. It's $40,000 and holding people hostage. But it's bigger than that. It's just, again, the whole thing of you never presented why you need those. You never said to those people, listen, saints, I need $40,000 to cover the cost of the convention for this organization that we don't know about or that you don't know anything about. He never says that. He made it into a religious thing. Like he said, God told him that there's 1,000 people that can give $20 here in the sanctuary, which it was a fucking convention center, but here in the sanctuary, and 1,000 online that are watching. That's what his fat ass said. That's what he said. So it was you fleecing the people once again of $40,000. It's right up there with Creflo Dollar and his $60 million that he was supposed to have some private fucking jet. It makes me sick, dude.
Cussed me out. My staff
I wish they had cussed his fat ass out, but it didn't happen.
Are afraid because I received death threats.
A staff. There is no imam anywhere in the Islamic world that has a staff, everybody. There is no staff.
Over $20 and shut the door.
Over $40,000 fleecing the fucking people yet again and holding them hostage. What else, fat ass? And he's got the gold chain on, everybody, and the Burberry bullshit. And this is a label whore. You understand? A materialistic bitch. That's what you're looking at right there, right there.
People have come to our campus. They have come to my church to try to cause problems, issues, challenges. And again, my children.
None of that happened. I promise you. Now, let's use the children. Your children what, fat ass?
I don't look at comments. We talk about this. You know, I don't read
comments.
When you got millions of followers, you ain't got time to be reading all the comments. You just
millions of followers. Millions of followers, he says. When you've got millions of followers.
I don't look at comments. We talk about this. You know, I don't read comments. When you got millions of followers, you ain't got time to be reading all the comments. You just don't have it.
Right.
My children do. And they are afraid.
And they are afraid. Like he just decided to pull that out of his ass. And turns out they're afraid too. Wait, what's that? Damn it, my cat is terrified, turns out. I'm getting word now. We're just all afraid. This is supposed to be a man of God. You see? But all this fear. You see what I'm saying? Meanwhile, you can look at our people in Gaza and you see the Muslim praying out in the open, in the rubble, knowing they could be bombed from the above at any second. No fear from the Muslim, but all you have running around with Christians is scaredy ass little bitches who have no faith at all, and any of their fake belief in God stops right at the moment of a calamity or fear. Well, forget that. They're the main ones running to get the fucking vaccine and shit. No faith in God at all. None. Don't tell me shit. Don't.
Read comments. When you got millions of followers, you ain't got time to be reading all the comments. You just don't have it.
Right.
My children do. And they are afraid. And
No,
the
they're
reason
not.
being is because I'm their only parent. I'm a widower. You know, they're
I'm a widower.
afraid for
What happened to your wife?
my safety. So now we've had to update and increase security.
Update and increase security. Update. That was a slip of the tongue. Update. You see what I'm saying? You just increase security. What is there to update? Huh? Huh? You see? That means he's invested in some new technology. He already had this shit, but now he wanted to update it. Up security for his fat ass. But you just said it's for the organization, that it didn't go to you. So why aren't you out here screaming, look, guys, don't give me any death threats. It's not me. Here's who you want. It's not me. It's not me. We don't get that from him at all. More evidence of the charge that I'm prosecuting against him here. He's a fat liar. He's everything that I'm telling you he is.
Now we've had to update and increase security and all the things I've never had to do before because of the vitriol and the anger that people have shown. The things
you've never had to do before, but you just said you had to increase security. And in the very next phrase, you say something I've never had to do before. So you've never had security before, but you just said update, which suggests you have had security, fat lard ass.
Date and increase security and all the things I've never had to do before because of the vitriol and the anger that people have shown, the things that they've said in my thread and stuff, and all.
So what? But you said you don't read anything. You said they've said in your thread, but you said you don't read the comments because you've got what, millions of followers. Your own testimony. And again, why don't you throw up your hands and say, look, it's not me, guys. I was just asking for it. Here's the name and address of the people you want. It's their shit. It's not mine.
Things that they've said in my thread and stuff. And all of this is because of a misunderstanding.
It's not a misunderstanding. The people were very clear.
And I'm not blaming people.
Yes, you are, bitch. That's why you're sitting there. What? And I'm not blaming people.
In my thread and stuff. And all of this is because of a misunderstanding. And I'm not blaming people. Let me be clear. I'm not blaming anybody because of their misunderstanding. I'm just saying in all you're getting, get an understanding. And if I'm sharing with you that the $40,000 that I was trying to raise, and again, I don't know if the organization got 40, 10.
Now, this was the ladder too far for me. You don't know what they got. And again, you didn't say, here's who it is. You go get, they're the ones that have you go talk to them. They asked me to ask for them. But now he wants to say he doesn't know what, if the money was even raised. But I showed you his victory at the end when he was going back to us. He was going to get in his truck and go back to his hotel and have fruit and water, which we know is a fucking lie.
That the $40,000 that I was trying to raise, and again, I don't know if the organization got 40, 10, 20, any of it. I don't know.
Any of it, I don't know. But you've taken all this heat and you wouldn't call them and say, look, did y'all motherfuckers even raise the money? All this bullshit I have to go through now. People call them death threatening me and everything, woo woo. Because none of it's happening, everybody. This is a fat fucking liar. This is the type of people I pray Allah for their deaths. I ask for the deaths of people constantly. Because I recognize that evil don't get no fucking forgiveness. There is none. I pray for the deaths of people. And this bitch is on the list. Again, I don't even know. Who believes that? $40,000 and you don't know if it was even raised or not with all the hell you're taking? This just sent me to the fucking moon, dude.
that the $40,000 that I was trying to raise, and again, I don't know if the organization got 40, 10, 20, any of it. I don't know.
The organization. And this was a lie he didn't even need to tell. He should have just shut the fuck up, quite frankly, on all of it. All of it's a lie, but here's a lie, you just didn't even need it. Like, I don't even know. Like, they didn't even tell me whether or not they even raised it. I proved already the fat bitch raised it. That was a man pleased with himself when he was about to leave that damn stage, when he said he was getting into his truck and go back to his hotel and have fruit and water, which still makes me vomit.
I don't know if the organization got 40, 10, 20, any of it. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm hoping that I actually raised more money.
I'm hoping you couldn't pick up the phone and call the people that you were actually out there slutting your ass for to raise the money. It's just, ooh, we don't know. Ooh, well, we'll never know. Ooh, it's just, it's in the stars. Nobody can know. We don't know. I'm hoping I could have raised even more money. Wait now.
Any of it, I don't know. I'm hoping that I actually raised more money.
Wow. So you don't know if they got anything, but you're hoping you raised even more. That means I feel like I at least got to 40,000, but I'm hoping I raised even more. Oh, but you don't know the totals at all, so you don't know. I mean, this is a major lie right here, dude. That you don't know anything about what happened to the money at all. It just slipped away into nothingness right along with that fucking Trinity, apparently. Ooh, we don't know.
So that I can help the organization that has been such a great support to me.
So that I can help the organization that's been a support to me. But you told these people they were sowing and seeding for a miracle. Not for some fucking organization for you to look good in front of. You see what I'm saying? It was about sowing and seeding from the saints, no less. His language, not mine.
Me. These people.
And again, let's be clear. Not a dime of that money.
Not a dime of that money came to me.
Not a dime of that money came to you, to me. Ricky Smiley punctuated that. Like, let's just to be clear, none of it came to you. Who believes none of it went to him? So he spoke at this fucking convention, and it wasn't at his own church, which means he had travel because he was in a hotel and all of that. You mean to tell me they didn't offer him anything at all? Come, lard ass, speak for us at our convention, and we'll give you nothing, but we're inviting you. And by the way, come and raise 40,000 for us. It's just, I can't.
To me, these people.
And again, let's be clear. Not a dime of that money.
Not a
And
dime
how
of that money
tall
came
is
to
he,
me.
dude?
Not a dime.
Like, I mean, he looks like a fucking gnome sitting over there. Like, look at how Ricky Smiley look, and then he's just like, what's happening? I can't. But it's perfect because he looks as pathetic as he is.
Again, let's be clear. Not a dime of that money.
Not a dime of that money came to me. Not a dime of it.
And where do your money come from?
I've been blessed.
I've been blessed. Not a dime of the money came to him, according to the lying whore. No money came to him, everybody. And now he asks, well, where do you get your money? I've been blessed. He's been blessed. But he had those people up there thinking they were sowing and seeding for some miracle that was not about a miracle at all. But he's been blessed.
Extremely blessed. I've sold millions of records.
I've sold millions of records.
Millions. I'm a songwriter.
How much have you gotten paid from? And we on the radio live,
right?
How much have you gotten paid from your church? I'm just saying.
How much have you gotten paid from your church? And again, the nervous laughter. You see, he broke into laughter when he said, I've been blessed, when he asked him about how much do you make, motherfucker. Now he's asking about how much you get paid for your church, from your church.
How much have you gotten paid from your church? I'm just saying.
Okay, so
Tell
see,
me
Ricky,
what you said
I'm
during the
gonna tell
commercial.
you. What people don't know is that I pastored 16 years in the city of Grand Rapids, Michigan. I founded my church. I pastored 16 years. We had a great church. Still have a great church there. 16 years of pastoring. I never got paid a dime.
Lies. And a lot of them, when they start these churches, they're getting a kickback from the government, especially now, because many of them are paid, so they don't ever fucking talk about shit in the church that needs to be talked about. They don't promote unity amongst our people. They don't promote us bringing our finances together or anything that would help our people. And they're paid for that shit. So let's not buy and believe this bullshit when he says he's 16 years that he didn't get a dime. And in those 16 years, dumbass black people were giving. I'm very sure about that. So that's more lies from this piece of shit.
16 years of pastoring, I never got paid a dime. That's a fact. 16 years. You can call the church. You can ask them.
Nobody believes that.
Pastored the Lighthouse for Life Center Church in Grand Rapids, Michigan for free for 16 years. 9 years of those 16 years, I gave a minimum of $30,000 a month.
9 years of those 16 years, he gave $30,000 a month. For what? $30,000 a month? You don't need that to run any fucking building in this fucking country. Okay, unless it's Michael Jackson's Neverland Ranch. All right, that's something else. All right, but it's not any tacky ass piece of shit church. $30,000 when he says he was getting absolutely nothing, but he personally for 9 of the 16 years, he gave $30,000 a month, everybody.
9 years of those 16 years, I gave a minimum.
A minimum. That means suggesting there was times he gave more. I gave a minimum, go on, lard ass,
of $30,000 a month to my church.
Wow. To your church. To do what with? What happened to the $30,000? What would you do with $30,000 a month to a church? For what? For what? For what? Because nobody should be employed at a church. You understand? We don't have that in the Islamic world. Yet again. A house of worship is supposed to be a house of worship, everybody. Not a fucking business. So where was this $30,000 a month going for a church that you weren't getting a fucking thing from?
30 grand a month to my church to ensure that the church could go forward. We had a lot of
so the church could go forward to do what?
Stuff. I had a college campus that we had bought. We had 3 other campuses, and
okay, so it wasn't the church; it was the whole business.
Membership had dwindled after my wife had passed because I had to travel more in order to take care of me and my kids.
So your membership dwindled after your wife died. So there wasn't an assistant pastor. Just you had to travel more because what?
Because I had to travel more in order to take care of me and my kids.
Right.
So, my membership.
You had to travel to take care of you and your kids, but you had $30,000 at least to give to a fucking church every month, which was more than enough to take care of you and your goddamn kids. And according to your testimony, you weren't getting anything from the church, so you didn't have to travel. You could have just took care of your fucking kids right where you were with at least the $30,000 a month that you had an expendable income to give away to the fucking church. I don't believe you.
My wife had passed because I had to travel more in order to take care of me and my kids.
Right.
So, my membership, it dwindled, but we never lost anything. And as a matter of fact, this is factual.
My membership dwindled, but we never lost anything. A membership is something you pay for. A membership, everybody. Membership. So people were giving. He's trying to paint this picture like it was just this destitute nothing wasteland that only he was giving 30 grand a month to, and that's it. But he said he had a college campus, they had a bunch of other shit going on. So you mean to tell me there was no revenue coming in? There was. That's why he just mentioned it's a slip when he says my membership dwindled. I had to travel, take care of me and my kids, because he wasn't giving $30,000 a month. He wasn't.
The day I announced the new pastor, I burned the mortgage of the church.
So there's a new pastor. So why did the membership dwindle? And you burned the mortgage of the church. So it didn't matter if your membership dwindled. Apparently you had all the money you needed. You see how he's just talking himself into a fucking knot?
As a matter of fact, this is factual. As
a matter of fact, this is factual. All the other shit I've said up to now has been a fucking lie. But this is factual, actually. I just remembered this actual truth.
And as a matter of fact, this is factual.
There, you see that? As a matter of fact, this is factual. Damn it, I did find some truth that actually might be the truth.
The day I announced the new pastor, I burned the mortgage of the church. When I left Grand Rapids, I left my church not only debt-free, but I left them with 6 figures in the bank. And
debt-free and 6 figures in the bank. Why would a church be in debt? Somebody tell me this now. A church in debt. How is a church in debt? Please tell me this.
But I left them with 6 figures in the bank and put a brand new pastor in and walked away and moved to Texas. I'm not walking around here trying to be a pimp.
But you said you had to go on the road to support you and your kids. But you're leaving them with 6 figures in the bank and debt free. So we're not understanding why you need to leave to feed you and your kids. Because it's a fucking lie, dude. He doesn't even. It's just
the bank.
I'm glad that Ricky Smiley is just letting him talk. Just letting him talk. Like they say, you let somebody talk long enough, you're going to hear everything you need to hear. Just let him talk.
A new pastor in and walked away and moved to Texas. I'm not walking around here trying to be a pimp. I'm not trying to take advantage of people. That's never been my passion. I'm serious about ministry. And let me go one step further.
He never answered where he got his money. He just said, I've sold millions of albums. I don't know a fucking album from this dude.
A whole lot of other pastors around here that are doing the same thing. Most pastors in America are bivocational, meaning they have jobs outside of their churches. The average church size in America is only 75 people.
Don't matter, but y'all milk that motherfucker for filth. And I don't believe his number either.
Look it up. It's factual. So we're not getting.
But that doesn't matter because you have, let's say you got 20 churches that are 75 members or less. All you need is one of these motherfuckers got 15,000 fucking people in their membership on a Sunday. They got to have 6 services on a Sunday to get everybody through. That cancels out them other ones that don't have. So that means nothing. That means nothing. That means nothing.
Vocational, meaning they have jobs outside of their churches. The average church size in America.
Because they're greedy as fuck. They only need to be there on Sunday to take up a collection, nigga. So, of course, they can be bivocational and have jobs outside the church. You're supposed to have only a job outside the church. The church is not supposed to be your fucking job. It's one of the issues that I have with Christianity. Why are you paying the fucking pastor? Why? When you say you love a man who never took a dime. Fuck these people, dude. They're clowns. Clowns.
jobs outside of their churches. The average church size in America is only 75 people.
They only need to collect on Sundays.
Look it up. It's factual. So we're not getting rich off the church. I am bivocational. I'm a W-2 employee at my church.
A W-2 employee at the church, bitch. Employee at a church. Think about how, if that doesn't sound fucked up to you, you're the problem. You're the pastor. And you're a W-2 employee at the church. What's your salary then? Then that has the right to be public knowledge. I'm sure he doesn't tell that. You see?
I have a syndicated radio show.
They make themselves an employee of their own business. Do you understand that in Islam, you can't own the mosque? You can't own the mosque. So in America, they'll put the Islamic Society of North America or something like that. It can't be in somebody's name. That's against Islam for you to own the mosque. You can't own the mosque. You can't. You can't. But you hear it like breathing. Oh, that's Robert Johnson's church right there. That's Kenny Jenkins' church over there. That's so-and-so church. You never hear that out of the Muslim world anywhere on the planet. Wouldn't hear it. Wouldn't hear it. And isn't it interesting that the people that aren't about money are the holiest people, and the people that are all about the money are the least fucking holy people walking the planet? Isn't that interesting?
So we're not getting rich off the church.
Yes, you are.
I am bivocational. I'm a W-2 employee at my church. I have a syndicated radio show that I do every week.
So remember, he told us he was 16 years he did it for free, and 9 of those 16 years he gave 30 grand a month to the church. Didn't take a dime. So now he's got a radio show and he's got it all. And so why are you a W-2 employee at your church then? Shouldn't you still be doing it for free? Since you've been so blessed, what's his testimony?
I'm a W-2 employee at my church. I have a syndicated radio show that I do every week to over 60 different markets.
So why are you taking money from the church at all?
I own real estate.
I own real estate.
Mutual funds. I have annuities. I have stocks. I play the market. I took my money and I didn't trick it.
So then why are you taking even a dime from the church now as a W-2? So if you're taking money from the church when you actually got all this assets you just storied and itemized for us, you still want us to believe that when you didn't have all that, you weren't taking anything at all from the church, but now that you have something, you're a W-2 employee? Fuck this fat bitch.
Money that you made from
money that I made from music,
records.
from hit records. I'm one of the only gospel artists with billions of streams.
And you tour.
And I tour. I just came off of a
Ricky's trying to help him out. And you tour.
Sure.
That I made tons of money on.
But I'm still a W-2 employee at the fucking church.
And I'm at the crib right now chilling because I don't have to go on tour.
I can just live off my W-2 money I get from the church.
I can wait and do my next day.
Basically, you saying all that to say you don't need no $40,000.
I don't.
So then, why didn't you give the $40,000 to this organization that had been so good to you? Why didn't you just give them the fucking $40,000? Huh? With all your assets and holdings, lard ass. Why did you ask these people who, many people in the church are in the economic status of the rest of us? Why did you need their measly $20 when you didn't need even $40,000? So if you don't need their $40,000, you didn't need their $20. You understand? So why didn't you just write the fucking check for $40,000 for this organization that you wanted to help out that has been so good to you? You see what I'm saying? The hypocrisy, dude. The hypocrisy. The hypocrisy. Yes, you did need the fucking $40,000, or you at least took it,
that I made
or you
tons
got
of
a
money
portion of it.
on, and I'm at the crib right now chilling because I don't have to go on tour. I can wait and do my next day.
Basically, you saying all that to say you don't need no $40,000.
I don't.
Got it.
So why didn't you give $40,000 then? Why? Why did you lock these people in this fucking building for $40,000 when you could have just said, look, if y'all want to give, y'all can. If not, it don't matter. I'm just going to go ahead and write the check for $40,000. You see? And I go back to, remember, it's supposed to have been a miracle. Not for the organization. It was supposed to be a miracle. And it exactly was not for a miracle at all. He's just digging himself in deeper, dude. I hate him even more now.
And I would take it if they gonna give it to me.
And they did. When I locked them in, they gave it to me. That's why I was able to go back to my hotel and have my fruit and water.
I did not raise this money for the premise and purpose.
And that was a program that helped you get
right
to where you
they
are.
gave me a platform. This organization is an organization I grew up in. It's a church organization I grew up in. And I'm appreciative. The reason why I'm gonna bring up the organization, because it ain't none of y'all business.
Oh, it is, motherfucker, because you had them give $40,000 to this bitch that you could have wrote them a check your goddamn self. So you wanted to show them appreciation, so you just use everybody else's money to help for your shit. That you exactly did that. That's a very important piece right there. Hear this.
Not raise this money for the premise and purpose.
And that was a program that helped you.
A program that helped you.
Right.
Where you
they
are.
gave me a platform. This organization is an organization I grew up in. It's a church organization I grew up in. And I'm appreciative. The reason why I'm gonna bring up the organization, because it ain't none of y'all business.
It is their business. And if it's a church organization, why would it be secretive? Why would it be secretive if it's really a church organization? And if you want to show your appreciation, why didn't you just give them fucking $40,000? Why did you mask it as some miracle of sowing and seeding and shit for the people and then lock them in and not let them out until you raise this $40,000? Because everything he's saying is a lie, everybody. He's not bringing up the organization because there probably is no organization. There is no organization. There isn't. There isn't.
This organization is an organization I grew up in. It's a church organization I grew up in. And I'm appreciative. The reason why I'm gonna bring up the organization, because it ain't none of y'all business.
It is.
But the point is these people gave me a platform, man.
Then you need to pay them, man, and not Miss Johnson on her last Social Security $20 for the month. While you sit up there in Burberry from London, England, and fucking Jordans, bitch.
And the reason why I'm known today is because of the opportunities that this organization gave me. So for me to go back.
For you to go back and give your own $40,000 instead of locking people into the convention center in Baltimore and having them pay for this motherfuckers and me say I'm trying to show my gratitude. No.
And be able to preach and raise finances and give back to them so that they don't.
Why didn't you give it to them? You just said you don't need $40,000.
Have to go in debt.
So they don't have to go in debt. So, but you don't need $40,000. So why didn't you, again, why? Oh my God. Is anybody else getting the aneurysm that I'm getting right now? Type if you have an aneurysm right now. It's infuriating. I wish the bitch was getting death threats. Sadly, he's not.
I'm appreciative. The reason why I'm going to bring up the organization, because it ain't none of y'all business. But the point is these people gave me a platform, man. And the reason why I'm known today is because of the opportunities that this organization.
So that's between you and them. So why did you mask it as a fucking miracle offering or some bullshit? You could just said, look, I'm trying to show appreciation to these motherfuckers that put me on. If y'all want to help me pay $40,000 to them, I would love to do that. Everybody would have just walked out the door. So it was theft by deception as well. I'm adding that charge now, counselor. Theft by deception, everybody. There it is. It's theft by deception. How's it theft by deception, Jedi? Could you make your claim? Yes, I'll do that. Thank you, Your Honor. Theft by deception because you took the money from the people under a pretense other than what they understood it to be. You said it was a miracle that we could do. The Lord told you that there was 1,000 people in the room and 1,000 people online that could each give $20. And that this was a miracle that we could do. And you gave the whole thing about the patriarchs of old offering offering and shit, and because they had gotten something from the word of the Lord. Now it's about you and this fucking organization. That's exactly not patriarchs of old and sacrifices and shit. This is your fat ass extorting $40,000 from people for some good old boy network that only you're a part of and won't even tell the people about, because in your words, it's what? None of their damn business. We'll just hear the testimony again.
And the reason why I'm known today is because of the opportunities that this organization gave me. So for me to go back and be able to preach and raise finances and give back to them so that they don't have to go in debt. Listen,
hold on. Hold that thought, y'all.
That's when he should ask the question. But again, I'm glad he didn't, because Ricky Smiley is a dumb bitch and a Christian. So that's kind of a double, I'm speaking, because if you're Christian, you're a dumb bitch. So that kind of goes hand in hand. But I digress. I'm glad he's not asking any questions, because then Lord asking you to sit there and hang himself. One statement after the next. Just let the lies roll out. He's doing more damage here than, even more, I should say at the very least. He's doing even more damage here. If he had just shut the fuck up and let this firestorm blow over, it would have been better. But the guilty always have to speak. They're compelled because they want to control the information. The innocent man shuts the fuck up and just lets it ride.
25 before the top of the hour, y'all. We're talking to Marvin Sapp. More Marvin Sapp up next. Rick Smiley Morning Show.
I was just saying that, I think one of the most devastating things about this whole situation and circumstance is that, I'm literally praying for all of those who have actually spreaded the lie. And the reason being is because I don't think people really understand that when you do things like this, the effect that it has. Like
no lie was spread. You not praying for the folks that gave their last $20, bitch?
If I was a weak guy, if I was a very weak person with
you are weak.
All of the things that people have said in my comments and stuff like
you're all of that and worse.
Like that my members of my church have read, that my children have read. People commit suicide on stuff like this.
Sure.
From this type of attack. And I know for a fact
it's not that serious, motherfucker. They do commit suicide over things when it's really serious. Your shit is just some bullshit.
That there are some individuals that really don't have a clear understanding of the systems of the church. But then I know that there are some individuals that are listening even as I speak that have been church hurt, and that's the reason why they have a certain level of vitriol and bitterness as it pertains to the church. This particular situation for me is a church hurting situation because I did something for the church.
No, you didn't. You did something for the organization, bitch. That is none of our damn business. Your own words.
But I'm taking abuse because of it.
Nah. Now he's trying to lay himself out as some benevolent martyr. Oh, look at the cross I have to bear in the name of righteousness. And
that's what church hurt is all about. And as I just want people to really understand that this is something that we shouldn't do. Make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure you check out everything first. Make sure.
No, bitch. They should have checked your bitch ass out. Maybe you could have given them information. You understand? And told them it's about an organization and not some offering that has to do with the patriarchs of old and all the other vomit that you spit out. And the Lord is speaking and that they have an obligation now because they received something from the Lord. And fuck this dude. And the bitch that gave birth to him, that fat bitch.
You examine the information with clarity and context before you begin to share it. It's sad. I was labeled as a pulpit pimp.
You are. You're exactly that. You pimped these people for an organization that's none of their damn business. You pimped them for $20 because you said it was the patriarchs of old and how they would offer a sacrifice after they would pause, and after God had done something for them, and they would pause and they would set up an altar and offer a sacrifice. And you have an obligation now to give because you got something from the word of the Lord tonight. You're exactly a fucking pulpit pimp, bitch, and a slut and a whore and a fat ass bitch.
Honestly, let me be real, Rick. Some of this stuff is funny. They got this one meme that I was laughing this morning looking at.
Oh, you were looking at memes. I thought you said you had no time to look at comments at all. Only your family and staff have seen it. Oh, again, more lies.
The Teddy Pendergrass fur coat on, and it got at the bottom of my face. They close the door. It's hilarious. I'm just telling you. I can laugh at that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But I can laugh at that kind of stuff because there's no injury to me and I still got the $40,000 and I'm still pimping the people, so I can laugh at stuff like that in the name of the Lord, because the Lord is telling me that it's okay for me to heist the fuck out of my people and fleece the fuck out of their last dollar and sit up here in my Burberry from fucking London, England shirt and my Jordans and my gold fucking chain.
But let me go one step further. Everybody ain't able to handle that. And you all have to really, really be cognizant of it. You got to think about before you repost, before you slander.
You can't handle it either. If you could, you would have just shut the fuck up. Why are you on Ricky Smiley to talk about it? Because you exactly can't handle it.
Before you go in people's comments and say vile and this vitriol stuff, make sure you know for a fact what it is that they've done. Now, if
we're clear about what you did, fat bitch.
I was had babies all over the country, if I was, stealing money, if you found out that I was actually stealing money, I wouldn't mind being dragged. I wouldn't. But that's not what I done. And that's not what I did.
That's not what I done.
The only thing I did was honor the leadership of our church's organization.
I honor the leadership of our church's organization. So it wasn't about a miracle. It wasn't for anything other than that. If even that's the truth, and I suggest to you it's not. But it's immaterial to my indictment, because the fact of the matter is I've proven deception. I've proven deception. And I've proven that he coerced the people. He held them hostage by coercion.
When they asked me to take up an offering, I tried to raise $40,000 for the...
No, you didn't say that. They didn't ask you, because you didn't say they've asked me to take up an offering. You gave this whole patriarchs of old and the sacrifice and the bullshit and the responsibility of the people because they heard something from the word of the Lord. We're going to stay on that because that's what the fat bitch said.
The leadership of our church's organization, when they asked me to take up an offering, I tried to raise $40,000 for the organization, not for me personally. Money that I make, I write songs, I own businesses, I have multiple streams of income.
So why didn't you just pay the fucking $40,000 when they asked you to take up a collection? Why didn't you say, I don't need to take up a collection? I have the $40,000 in my fucking pocket right now that I was going to spend on ham hocks, but you could have some of it.
I've been good with the money and a good steward over the finances that God has given me. So
you don't have to explain.
At 58 years of age, if I don't drive a certain kind of car, there's a problem. That means I tricked off my money.
Boom. Label whore and materialistic bitch, as I said. You hear that there? At a certain age, if I'm not driving a certain type of car. He and I happen to be the same age, sadly. Your boy drives a 1997 Honda Civic EX. Done. Have had it for 26 years. So don't give me this bullshit. Don't do it. Don't.
me. So
Which
at
you don't
58
have to explain.
at 58 years of age, if I don't drive a certain kind of
If I don't drive a certain kind of car, you see, like, that's how you gauging what you supposed to be doing at 58, nigga? Wow.
car, there's a problem.
There's a problem. So the car is the issue, not have I gotten my moral temple together? Am I a responsible, seasoned human being? Am I growing? Am I learning? Am I more submissive to God? And on. We can go down this. No, bitch. It's about all the type of car. That's how you're supposed to judge what you're supposed to be doing. You understand? So it strengthens my claim of it being a label whore and a materialistic bitch.
At 58 years of age, if I don't drive a certain kind of car, there's a problem. That means I tricked off my money.
But you worked hard for it.
I work and still work hard.
And on tour and getting on planes. And
absolutely. Planes, trains, automobiles, hotels, motels, holidays.
And rehearsals. And singing. And preaching on Sundays. And rehearsals and writing a song and producing and the hours and hours in the studio. Yeah, you
look at Ricky trying to add shit onto it, and you doing all this, and they lucky that they even. I mean, you had to actually. Shut the fuck up, Ricky.
Hard for that. And what was your number one hits?
My number one hit was Never Would Have Made It.
Never Would Have Made It.
48 weeks in number.
So Ricky Smiley is supposed to be your friend. You're literally sitting at his radio station, and he doesn't know the name of your number one hit. Who else finds that to be a problem? Like I say, you got to get up early and stay up late to get shit past the Jedi. You just goddamn it do. Hear that exchange again. He's literally in a radio station where they play music.
Rehearsals and writing a song and producing and the hours and hours in the studio. Yeah, you worked hard for that. And what was your number one hits?
What was your number one hits? Plural. That means I don't know none of your fucking songs. As I sit in a radio station that I own, and I'm supposed to be your friend. As he opened up, I'm doing this because I'm your friend. I'm a good friend, and I'm a loyal friend. But I don't know a fucking thing you've done. I knew I had to do this video. I knew I had to.
In the studio, yeah, you worked hard for that. And what was your number one hits?
My number one hit was Never Would Have Made It.
Never Would Have Made It.
48 weeks in number.
Never would have made it without lying to the people about this being some patriarchal bullshit and the saints and the sacrifice of the bullshit. Never would have made that $40,000 plus, because I'm sure they went over the $40,000.
What was your number one hits?
My number one hit was Never Would Have Made It.
Never Would Have Made It.
48 weeks in number one. Yeah, 48 weeks in number one. When it first came out, I sold 4 million ringbacks and ringtones.
Come on, man.
4 million.
Yeah.
Y'all do the math. Y'all do the math. Who do you know that can work a job?
Y'all do the math, which means it's even worse that I didn't need your $40,000 that I lied about to get it from you.
For 16 years and don't get paid. Who do you know that can give $30,000 a month to a church for 9 years? Do the math. Yeah. Do the math. And walk away from it. This ain't about $40,000. I don't know what it's about.
Hey,
but
Mark,
I want to be clear.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You've
done a fantastic job of explaining in detail, the whole
better than me,
situation.
Some other moist booty who needs to shut the fuck up. I don't know who's speaking there, y'all.
I'd have been going on.
No. You've done a fantastic job of explaining yourself. It brings to mind the saying that why run with the truth when the lie is way more entertaining.
Absolutely.
And that's what has happened in this case. And I respect pastors who actually do the good work like you're talking about.
Again, the stuff that I'm laying out to you is shit that anybody can see for themselves. But this is the perfect metaphor for what I'm telling you about Christianity in general, everybody. They're not critical thinkers. If I can stand up in front of you and tell you God is one, but it's three, they're all totally separate, but they're still one, and get you to believe that, then I can get you to believe any fucking thing on the earth. Period. I win. That's it. I win. Basic deduction. All you had to do was listen. But you see they're up there caking with him because they can't listen. They're not independent thinkers. Again, you have to be weak-minded to be a Christian. That's the first requisite. It's the first requisite. You cannot have a brain of your own.
I run with the
it's kind of like when
line.
You go to the if any of you ever studied anything about the what's the fucking Scientology, the Church of Scientology. I walked into one of their offices, or their little I guess it's an office in Hollywood many years ago, just because I just was like, well, who are these people? And so they start asking you questions. They're trying to find problems, something they can exploit. I have no problems. Well, you must have some. No, I'm good there. I'm good with this. I didn't have no problems. Nothing at all. And Christianity does the same thing. They even tell you you're born in sin. Nah, bitch. A child is the sacred holy vessel, untouched by any sin at all. It's exactly the fucking opposite. You're not born in sin. Fuck that. Is
way more entertaining.
Absolutely.
You know? And that's what has happened in this case. And I respect pastors who actually do the good work like you're talking about, but I think it's become real popular over the last few years for people to attack people in your position.
Because they did nothing at all? Shut the fuck up. He's just licking this fat ass's ass. That's all he's doing.
Shut it started with the whole, Creflo Dollar and the plane thing. It just became real fashionable. But our people who...
You didn't see no problem with the Creflo Dollar thing, my nigga? Shut the fuck up.
...are attacking you. You really need to examine your own life. If you are making death threats and typing out violence...
Nobody's making death threats to this dude. Nobody. Because if there was death threats, that means the FBI would be involved, everybody. And he's made no mention of the FBI. So, more evidence that I'm offering you of why he's a fat bitch and a liar, and he's everything that I'm telling you he is.
Kind of things like that over this situation, you really need to sit back and think about where you are in life. There's a lot about you. That's
yeah.
crazy.
I want to say this to you, man. God just put this on my heart, and I'm nowhere in ministry, and
God just put this on my heart because after this other little dude just licked your ass, it may inspire me to lick your ass too. So I want to say this too because I'm feeling size as fuck the same too. So let me say, but then they said God just put this on my heart. God didn't have a damn thing to do with it. And you'll hear that by what he's about to say.
You, man, God just put this on my heart, and I'm nowhere in ministry, and I just love God, and I do a praise break on the show every morning. Remember what all y'all pastors taught us, that all of this is only a test.
Oh, Doc, I believe in it. And let me close. I can close by saying this. I'm driving down the road, and honestly, Spirit of the Lord spoke to me and said, Marvin, this is going to be a teachable moment. And I said, okay, God, well, what are you trying to teach me? He said, well, I'm trying to teach you exactly what you've been singing for years. That after this, you're going to be stronger. You're going to be wiser.
Come on.
You're going to be better. You're going to be so much better. And I want my church to know that, I stand in integrity and that I'm here to protect the integrity of our church, the Chosen Vessel Church in Fort Worth. And while I'm here, I might as well invite all of y'all to come to University of Texas, Arlington, and be with me on Easter Sunday because we're going to give God a crazy praise. We're going to magnify
and we're going to raise some more money there too.
In
But look, go back to Ricky Smiley's fake bitch ass.
I just love God, and I do a praise break.
I just love God.
There's a lot about you.
You don't love God if you're not willing to submit to God. Period. That's just period. Period.
I just love God, and I do a praise break on the show every morning. Remember what all y'all pastors taught us, that all of this is only a test.
Oh, Doc, I believe in it.
So all that profound lead up to just to say that, God just put this on my heart. All this is a test. Ooh, thank God we stopped the fucking show for Ricky to give his divine revelation that he received that was so profound and moving that we'll be just doing the dissertation on it for at least the next 80 years, and we just don't have the answer to the mastery of it all.
And I just love God, and I do a praise break on the show every morning. Remember what all y'all pastors taught us, that all of this is only a test.
Oh, Doc, I believe
all y'all pastors taught us this is a test. You need the pastor to tell you that shit? You ain't never cracked your Bible open, dumb bitch? That's why you look like fucking Fred Sanford from the side. I'm over it.
And let me close. I can close by saying this. I'm driving down the road, and honestly, Spirit of the Lord spoke to me and said,
the Spirit of the Lord spoke to me. How many pastors have you heard say that shit? This is part of their hypno language, everybody. It's all part of it. It's part of the seduction. I was trying to, and the Spirit of the Lord spoke to me, and he's just about to say the same shit that them two little ass lickers, just Ricky Smiley and the other little fucker that we don't know, that we can't see. So he's about to make this up, because I always tell you, they manufacture all their moments. Christians, they all do that shit. They manufacture the shit. They make themselves believe that the Spirit of the Lord spoke to them, or the Lord told them this or that, and none of it is fucking true at all. And now he's about to do the same thing. Like, I'll close by this, because they just gave him the inspiration for this. Ricky Smiley fed off the little fucker we can't see. Now this sap bitch is gonna feed off of what Ricky just said. Nothing holy happening. Nothing holy happening.
I can close by saying this. I'm driving down the road, and honestly, Spirit of the Lord spoke to me and said, Marvin, this is going to be a teachable moment. And I said, okay, God. Well,
the Spirit of the Lord said, this is going to be Marvin, this is going to be and I said, Lord, they all do this shit as if the Lord was sitting next to them and spoke to them. It's so blasphemous, dude. It's so blasphemous. It's so fucking blasphemous. I can't. I cannot.
What are you trying to teach me? He said, well, I'm trying to teach you exactly what you've been singing for years. That after this, you're going to be stronger. You're going to be wiser.
Come on.
You're going to be better. You're going to be so much better. And I want my church to know that, I stand in integrity, and that I'm here to protect the integrity of our church, the Chosen Vessel Church in Fort Worth. And while I'm here, I might as well invite all of y'all to come to University of Texas, Arlington, and be with me on Easter Sunday, because we're going to give God a crazy praise. We're going to magnify him. We're going to glorify him at 11 a.m. in Fort Worth.
In the midst of all of this, you can still find room.
Listen, sir.
In the midst of all this, as if he just saved fucking Normandy, the beach of Normandy, everybody, after all this, and he stopped the Hindenburg from going down, and oh my God, he stopped that space shuttle from blowing up last minute, and he held back the tsunami that was gonna hit Thailand. And after all this, after all you done been through, says Ricky Smiley, after all this,
in the midst of all of this, you can still find room.
Listen,
to bring people close, to take this opportunity to use this situation to bring people closer to God.
Bring people closer to God. This is fake as fuck. Do you understand? Fake.
It's not about, one of the things I've learned in pastoring, and one of my members asked me this yesterday. She was I don't understand how you can take this and keep smiling and preaching.
No member said that to him, everybody. No member said that to him. Again, you see what Ricky just said? Again, I'm showing you. The little fucker that we can't see said something. Then suddenly Ricky said, the Lord told me to say this. And then the fat bitch here got inspired by that and made up another story, a lie about being in the car. Now Ricky just said to him, and through all this, you still finding time to bring people to the Lord. And then he says, now, one of my members just said to me yesterday, how do you do this? Do you see the fakery? Damn.
And one of my members asked me this.
It didn't happen. No member said this. No member said this.
Yesterday, she was like, I don't understand how you can take this and keep smiling and preaching and you kind of acting like it's not bothering you.
Because it don't bother these people. You're not in their class. You understand? It does not matter to them. It don't matter. So this is not some sign of holiness or the sign of the Lord and all that bullshit. You understand? This is motherfuckers that don't give a fuck. They'll look you dead in your eye and steal your fucking money and cut your throat. The motherfucker's up here to plead his case over $40,000 and shows up in a Burberry fucking sweatshirt and fucking Jordans and a gold goddammit chain. And told you that the money, the organization, is none of your damn business. This is not the sign of somebody holy. This is a fucking crook, an agent of the devil that don't give a fuck. That's what you're looking at. And how you able to keep smiling and keep able to, please don't smile, because your fat ass don't got to smile. There's, oh my God, I can't.
And one of my members asked me this yesterday. She
it
was
didn't
like,
happen.
I don't understand how you can take this and keep smiling and preaching and you kind of acting like it's not bothering you. And I had to tell them, I've learned that sometimes God gives you a grace for certain situations in life. And this is.
But you said that you was in so much fear at the beginning, and that everybody around you, even your kids, are afraid. Now you're saying this person said, and you acting like it doesn't even bother you at all. It's a fucking lie, dude. This is as big of a lie as the bullshit he said to get the people's $40,000. It's the same fucking lie, same liar.
I've learned that sometimes God gives you a grace for certain situations in life. And this is one of the situations that I've.
Really? Because then why'd you beef up security? Why didn't you just have faith in God and he's giving you what? What's this vomit he's saying to us now?
You kind of acting like grace. It's not bothering you. And I had to tell them, I've learned that sometimes God gives you a grace for certain situations in life. And this is one of the situations that I've been graced for. So, at the end of the day, I'm not angry at anyone. I'm not upset. I understand, people, and I'm going to say this, no matter what I say, there are some people that have already made up their minds what they feel about Marvin Sapp. And they, no matter what I say, they're going to be like, well, he said this and he did that and da-da-da-da-da. So those aren't the individuals that I'm trying to convince. The individuals that I'm speaking to are those who may find themselves in this situation. And my prayer, and I promise you, I'm closing with this. Preachers always close 4 times anyway. But my prayer is that if you find yourself in this situation, that the grace that you didn't show me, that you still receive. My prayer is that the mercy that I did not receive, that you receive. And I promise you, I've been praying all week long and saying, Lord, just don't let them have to go through what I went through.
Oh my God.
The reason being is because I don't know if they possess the ability to handle it.
Right.
And I'm grateful that I do have.
Who is they? They don't have the ability to handle it. Like, he's the prophet, everybody. We're all just lowly people. Like, that's a self-anointing statement there. I don't know if they have this. How many millions of people are out here, and how many thousands of people is in it, that would be in his church sort of world, if you will. Who's he talking about? They wouldn't have the strength. Who the fuck is he talking about?
I don't know if they possess.
That should get his eye stuck on sight. Just that alone right there.
Show me that you still receive. My prayer is that the mercy that I did not receive, that you receive. And I promise you, I've been praying all week long and saying, Lord, just don't let them have to go through what I went.
Like, as if he's casting himself as like almost like a prophet Jesus figure, where he goes and asks for mercy for all of mankind, because you've given me all the knowledge of earth, Lord, but they don't know anything. So please, do you hear it?
And the reason being is because I don't know if they possess the ability to handle it.
You see, he thinks he's aside from everybody else. It goes to my charge a few minutes ago. I was saying, of course he acts like nothing's happening because he doesn't give a fuck. This isn't the action of someone who's all faithful and all the bullshit. This is somebody who don't give a fuck. Yeah, I told you, I stole your money, and what? And what? And will grin in your face. Wow.
Right. And I'm grateful that I do have a greater one on the inside of me that gives me the ability to stand in the midst of difficult situations.
No, it doesn't, because you need security.
All right, y'all, ladies and gentlemen, love you, man.
I love you too, man.
Fuck this dude. Fuck this fat lard ass bitch. This fake bitch. He's everything that I've said to you that he is, everybody. I think I've proven my claim. Make sure you watch the time and date of the release of my video. And anybody saying the shit that I've said, check their damn video, because you only hear these things from the Jedi. This I know. This I know. This I know. And that's why I knew I had to do this video. I'm aware of, and there's been people that have dragged him for filth, as he should be. But I knew that a deep dive had to come from me, just because of the talents that I've been given, you know. This guy is everything that I've said. That's why I let you see the original video to show what his statements were, what were his actions. Was it the reaction founded that's being had? And absolutely it is. Nobody's making anything up or adding or subtracting anything. Exactly what he did is what is being chastised. He lied to the people. He lied. He lied. And he held them hostage in that convention center in Baltimore. He lied. He held them hostage to get their money. Then he comes here, and I showed and proved that he raised the money. That's why he said, look at God. So he raised the money, and that's why he was ready to go back to his hotel and have his fruit and water, if you believe that shit, with his fat ass. But then he comes on Ricky Smiley, and we find out it's for some organization. That it was exactly not about the patriarchs of old and the pausing and setting up the altar to make a sacrifice, and you have responsibility now because you got a word of the Lord. It was about an organization, according to him, that is none of our damn business, his wording exactly, that he wanted to be able to give back to them, but he couldn't take it out of his vast financial holdings that he storied for us. He doesn't need the $40,000, so why couldn't you have wrote the $40,000? He's not getting death threats. I can promise you that's not happening. And he doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't. He doesn't. And this whole how they even advertise Christianity, you know, like he just said, I invite everybody to come out to Fort Worth, Texas. We're gonna give God a praise like nothing else. Like you gotta go. I mean, this is the Muslim prays 5 times a day. You understand what I'm telling you? Like it's just an empty fucking vessel, Christianity, an empty nothingness, a waste of fucking time, a complete and total waste of time and life. I wish to God I could have been live today. And it's Sunday too. Oh my God. This is the day you want to be live on a subject like this. But alas, it wasn't meant to be. I'm not done ranting about this. I'm not. Be looking though, you guys, also for, because now that I know I don't want to wait on my stuff. You know, I don't want to hold. I need to move forward with the things that I want to discuss and talk about, and I don't want to wait for a camera to do that. You know, like this case. I forget the kid's name now. That killed some white devil at a track meet, and it was self-defense. And of course, the white devils are trying to say it wasn't. There's that. The twins. I've still haven't dealt with that. I made a list actually of bullets. I know this fat ass was on the list also. I can't find. Where's my other phone? I don't have my list, y'all. Anyway, there's several things that I need to discuss, and that's just on this channel because I have things that I need to do over on Jedi Africa. So I'm just behind, you know. I'm just behind, and especially since we just finished Ramadan last Sunday, you know, so I was out of commission a lot during the holy month, and so some of it was just unavoidable, you know, like what are you gonna do? Yeah, I don't know where my other phone is. Anyways, I'm going to leave it here, everybody. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and to share it. And subscribe if you're new to the Jedi. We would be honored if you would join our family. There's my stomach growling. I'm pretty sure that's going to be in my sound. I'm out. This is the Jedi.